And so, are we up for discussion?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So Jeff, you're okay with Carol, and it sounds like you're probably gonna be okay with Billy, but you have some issue with James Perkins?
Yes, and Mr. Perkins, I believe, is on the FAC as well?
Yes, if it's the same James Perkins, yes. I don't,
I believe it is.
I don't know if he lives at.
And difficulty in communicating and getting in touch with Mr. Perkins at this time, so it's been yes, but there's been no communication from his end.
From who's that?
Mr. Perkins.
You haven't spoken with Mr. Perkins? You have not spoken?
I have spoken to him, but I have, once, a long time ago, but when I followed up with conversations, I haven't been able to communicate with him. And we really, we have 2 openings, but after Carol, we only have 1 opening, and I am looking to get someone with the right type of experience for this position. The Water Commission at this time needs someone with the expertise in this area. I did put out an email to all of the past members of the wastewater committee to see if anybody wanted to participate there, but I haven't gotten a positive answer on that at this time.
Mr. O'Leary.
I'm looking at Ms. Donahue's citizens' activity record. I mean, we just wanted to put her on the Commission of Disabilities, which was actually her 4th choice. Water Commission being 3rd, and 2 other committees in front of that. Mr. Perkins put the Water Commission as number 1.
Right.
It's his choice and interest.
Well, when I first met Mr. Perkins, it was actually by chance, and it was here, and he was actually going to an FAC meeting. And apparently the FAC meeting, I don't know if it was canceled that night or what have you, but, and this is quite some time ago. And then he came over and sat in our meeting for a little bit. And that was the last time that I had an opportunity to discuss it with him. I don't know, maybe you can shed some light with the FAC and his participation.
Well, let me just start with Carol. First of all, just so you know what Carol,
I know, Carol.
you know her, right?
I know. She's terrific.
I'm the one that actually, she was very interested in doing some work, so I had talked to Karen about it, and I had suggested to put her on the Commissions of Disabilities, so we could probably use someone like her.
You mean Carol or Billy?
Carol,
No,
I'm sorry.
Carl
Billy,
Billy Knight.
Billy, so,
Okay.
and I think, you know, he's a good person, so I hope you don't, I mean, I would think he'd be great for this board. Billy.
I
No?
think Billy's a female.
She's female.
I'm sorry,
She's-
she, I keep saying he. Yeah, that should be great for this board, so I'm just getting I'm not sure, Jeff, if you're going to accept her or not accept her.
I just saw her paperwork when we got it on Thursday, and I have not been able to reach her.
Look, I would
I'm all
suggest
confused.
that we just
Can I have-
table this, this
whole motion.
particular motion till our next meeting.
Okay.
At which time Jeff will make a full report. Because I'm not prepared to vote on one
Yeah,
individual.
and I'm not gonna speak for Mr. Perkins. I mean, I don't know his background related to water, and so I can't give you any feedback on
Mr. O'Leary?
I'm fine with, when is our next meeting? Is it 2 weeks from
2.
today?
Yes, the
Okay,
20th.
So I will be here. I mean, I know Mr. Perkins, and I know he's a strong personality, and sometimes that's a good thing. But, you know, if the majority of the board wishes to postpone action on this until the next meeting, it's fine. But as far as Mrs. Bork, she's
Yeah.
done a terrific job for a number of years, and put in a lot of time and effort, so certainly in favor of Mrs. Bork. And,
I think we're better off allowing the liaison to reach out to both Ms. Donahue and Mr. Perkins, have some communication with him and her within the next 2 weeks, so we can vote on it in 2 weeks. I would second Chair's motion to table this.
All in favor of
Appointment.
all in favor of tabling?
that. All right.
Opposed? Unanimous. Energy Study Ad Hoc Committee reappointments.
Yes. Mr. Chairman, I move to place in nomination the following names for the reappointment as members of the Energy Study Ad Hoc Committee for the terms to expire December 31, 2011. There are 7 openings. John Welsh, Department of Public Works, incumbent. David Patton, 27 Tower Hill Road, incumbent. Wayne Hardica, Schools, incumbent.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Yule, seconded by Mr. O'Leary. I'll waive roll call vote. Any discussion?
Just 7 opening. I thought we had a full committee here.
You do, they just, their paperwork's just not in yet, that's all. We'll have to look,
Okay.
that's not a problem.
Okay.
So in other words, there's 4 additional people whose
Right.
terms, what was this, a 1-year?
It's a 1 year every year,
Okay. all right.
and actually, I was under the impression that they all handed the paperwork in.
No. They may have told you that, but we don't have.
Tell you, Karen has been working very hard on
Yeah.
all this.
But just a little bit of information, at least on these 3 gentlemen, and even on the whole board, or committee, I should say, it's really refreshing to sit with a bunch of guys that are really into what they're doing, trying to find ways to save the community money. I mean, they cross their Ts and they dot their Is, and they're all experts in either electricity or plumbing or whatever the case might be. They know what you need to know to understand the savings that they're looking at, so, good bunch of guys.
On the motion, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous. Next are license renewals.
Mr.
A lot
Prisco,
of
this is where,
signing to do, right?
where he earns his money.
Mr. Prisco,
Okay.
common victual license.
Mr. Chairman, I move to renew the following common victular license, is that what you say?
Victual.
Victual license. To expire December 31st, 2011, subject to all regulatory department requirements. Andrea's House of Pizza, Beyond Bagels, Captain Pizza, China Cuisine, Dunkin' Donuts 13 Main Street, Dunkin' Donuts 6 Washington Street, Dunkin' Donuts 289 Main Street, Horseshoe Lounge, Kitty's Restaurant, Mario's Pizza and Sub, McDonald's Restaurant, Raya's Store, S&M Subway of North Reading, The Lobster Claw, and, oof, help me with that one. Wow Guru
Guru.
LLC, doing business as Subway.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Prisco, seconded by Mr. O'Leary. Discussion. Just a question, is everybody up on their fees and
Yes,
everything? that the board
everyone is
discussed?
required to be current on all their taxes and fees, and they would not come before the board unless they were. And I would also comment on the alcohol licenses, they do require an inspection of the fire department. And so any of them that do come before you have been approved by the fire department.
Already, okay.
Only if they have an alcohol license, or?
Yeah, any license that involves patrons coming onto premises, it comes from the fire that they had down in, what was it, West Warwick a number of years ago. There were a number of fire regulations that got passed, and they require an inspection.
So, can I ask you, the last one, that's not an operating business in town, is that an office,
Which one?
the last one?
Subway.
There's 2 of them. There's one is in Walmart, and the other one is right here.
At Tony's Barber Shop.
I never knew that. Okay.
Mr. Chair?
Mr. Yule.
Yes, for the benefit of me and anybody who's not getting ready to watch the ball game tonight, is Victuala, and if I'm saying that correctly, is that just simply a license to do business? Is that what that means versus the Victuala all alcohol?
Basically, it's a restaurant license, so you're allowing someone the privilege, and it's a privilege, of preparing and selling food for consumption on premises, so basically a restaurant. The alcohol license comes up that if it's associated with service of alcohol.
Right. Okay, thank you.
On the motion, further discussion. Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous? Next is common victual all alcohol. Mr. Prisco.
Okay. Mr. Chairman, I move to renew the following common all alcohol license to expire December 31st,
Can't do that.
2011.
Can't do that.
I know, particular.
Would you like me to read it?
No, common particular, all alcohol license to expire December 31st, 2011, subject to all regulatory department requirements. China
Oops, sorry.
China Cuisine, Kitty's Restaurant, Horseshoe Lounge.
I've been to all of them. Second?
Motion by Mr. Prisco, seconded by Mr. O'Leary. Discussion. Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous?
We have so much fun here. don't
So
we?
we are called the licensing board?
Yes, you are.
Okay. Mr. Chairman, I move to renew the following package store all alcohol license to expire December 31st, 2011, subject to all regulatory department requirements. Eastgate Liquors.
Second?
Motion by Mr. Prisco, seconded by Mr. O'Leary. Any discussion? Mr. Yule?
Yes, all of these licenses are renewed every year. Is there, for either efficiency purposes, or is it restricted by law? Can you have a two-year contract, the license? Is that not a possibility,
No.
having
No can do.
state law?
ABCC regulations.
Okay.
So each of these licenses comes before you every year.
Thank you.
You tired of signing it?
I had a question, oh, go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. You have a question on this one?
Yes, I do.
Okay, go ahead.
We don't have any, the police, does the police have to give any feedback on this?
Which license are you
This is
referring to?
one for Eastgate
Liquor store.
Liquors.
Yes, all of the licenses require feedback from the department boards and committees. If you give me a moment, I can locate it, but none of them would come before the board that had any concerns.
Okay, that's
So
my
in
question.
this case, we do request all of the departments, police, fire, building department, planning, conservation, et cetera, to provide us with a report, including the health department. So any and all that come before you have already been addressed and
Great,
inspected.
thank you. I don't have any more questions, Bob, on that.
On the motion, all in favor?
Aye.
Say aye. Opposed? Unanimous? The next.
Mr. Chairman, I move to renew the following package store wine and malt beverage license to expire December 31st, 2011, subject to all regulatory department requirements. Hess Express, Raya's Store.
Motion by Mr. Prisco. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Yule. Discussion?
The only discussion I have, and it's not, at least, it's not reflective of the ownership of the operation itself, but on the Riot store. Obviously, the last year, we had a couple of opportunities to present our views before the ABCC, and both times, facts were presented that there were wine tastings taking place at Raya's store, which is close proximity to elementary and high school, which raised an eyebrow in the eyes of the ABCC's concern, of alcohol being sold and presented. And again, as far as the, maybe the town administrator can enlighten us a little bit more, in relation to the ability for package stores to have an occasional wine tasting is provided for, I guess, under the ABCC regulations. I'm wondering if we could ask the licensee to forego that in light of its location. It might not be the most appropriate. And I didn't think of it at the time, when we initially issued the license to Raya's, the old Raya's store, you know, in Mr. Hall. But I think it's a legitimate concern. And I think maybe we should
Wouldn't it
it's
depend
subject-
on the frequency and also when, at the time of day or evening? I can't believe